We're on the march with Ten Hag's army.
We're all going to Wembley. Yeah, we're going to shake them up where we win. Yeah, folks. Man United are the greatest football team.
Go on, the boys.
Go on, United.
As Ten Hag says, everything. Going to do everything to bring the FA Cup back.
100%.
We'll do everything. We'll go to the cup final. We'll try and win it. Thank you for your support.
I'm easily pleased. I'm absolutely buzzing off the back of a 3-2 win against Newcastle, honestly, at home to Old Trafford. And couldn't remember the last Premier League win before that. It was Sheffield United. We learned that on the build-up show. But Manchester United, last home game of the season, finish it with a bang, a 5-goal thriller of Bruno Fernandes, man of the match performance, and Rasmus Højlund gets his goal, Amad Diallo gets his goal, and it was just altogether a very good game to watch for Manchester United. And it feels like the last 2 games, maybe finally towards the end of the season, we have figured out how to plug that hole in our midfield after a whole season of being a gaping wide donut. But here we are to break down the last home game of the season, break down Erik ten Hag's speech and give our overall thoughts on the game. We are joined with Tull, Kev and Maud. First and foremost, Kev, before we started the show, you've got something you want to say to Ricky, haven't you?
Yes, mate. Were you watching Bruno Fernandes, this masterclass this evening? And as I said before, off air, the thing about Bruno is you probably give the man of the match away there. We haven't got Ricky, who would have probably gone down the Johnny Evans route or something this evening, but we've got Bruno Fernandes, who we have missed for the last 2 games through injury, and I think Ricky was interested to see how the team would set up and how they would get on. You look at the stats this evening, you know, chances created, and we talk about creativity with Bruno Fernandes, and I'm not just saying it based on one game. You take that player out the team, he's the leader of this team. It was just so effective this evening. Everything that he did, everything went through him, and it was interesting to see him in this kind of false 9 thing. You think, is Erik ten Hag, you know, is he looking ahead to the cup final now and thinking this could possibly be, you know, something that he might be able to use against Manchester City? But Bruno Fernandes was just sensational this evening. You know, Newcastle couldn't get anywhere near him. I'm down for the shithousery. I like him when he drops to the floor and all that, you know, wins little fouls and that. It was just great.
I tell you what, with Bruno Fernandes, the absolute difference with him in the team and him not in the team. We haven't scored a goal while he was out for 2 games. Yep. Today we scored 3, and like we said, it's not a coincidence. He was everywhere. He was leading, he was setting the tempo. I mean, some of the balls he was putting through.
The one for Garnacho in the first half where he dinked it over, I'm like, wow. Who else in our midfield, you know, is capable of even seeing that pass and thinking, I'm going to try and execute it? You wouldn't, because a McTominay would bring the ball down, go left, right, keep the ball, the move breaks down. Fernandes basically sees things that others don't, and that's what makes him so special to United.
Anyone who thinks that he shouldn't be the right front and centre of this
he's the heartbeat.
New era.
He's the heartbeat, and I'm not just being reactionary to one game. He's the heartbeat of Manchester United in this current time, easily.
Is the experience, is the leadership that we need, and he's also got absolutely bags of talent, passion, everything. I could go on and on about him. I just absolutely love him, and at the end there, Ten Hag had to pull him away from doing his interview, and it was just a nice little moment. And yeah, gives everything, because he's probably not 100% fit, but gives everything for the show as per usual. But another excellent performance today, Tull. Amrabat.
Amrabat. Oh, I thought I was going to get Ahmad. Yeah. I was thinking Ahmad. But I'm happy with Amrabat.
Ahmad, we've got Mainu, we've got a few others to get through, but we'll go to Amrabat
No,
next.
I'm happy to talk about Amrabat because the key thing for me today is that midfield 4. Dropping another player in the midfield. I know you can say Bruno's a false 9. He's basically 4 men in the middle, isn't it? I thought it looked miles more sturdy. And I thought Casemiro actually looked like he had a better game because he looked less exposed. Even he did get caught one-on-one a few times, and it's like a slip and slide when someone's running at him. But in terms of Amrabat and McTominay sat in front of the two centre-backs, and then you've got Bruno and... who else? Bruno and...
Cobby.
Bruno and Cobby. Yeah, they'll just knock the ball about all day. Good performance. Is it enough for him to stay? We were talking before, weren't we? Is it enough for Amrabat to stay? I don't know. Probably not, to be honest. He's probably the only 2 good performances he's put in all year.
The guy's just won me over with his last 2 games.
Yeah, but come on, Ben.
Rio Ferdinand, get the contract out.
I was going to say, it's a good job you're not on the board.
Yeah.
Jesus.
20 million's not that bad in this current market. Just saying.
I think you can get better.
So if Martial,
he's another
if
bench
Martial
player,
comes
innit?
back
Do you know
now
what I mean?
and he scores in the FA Cup final, would you give him a new contract?
No, obviously not.
There we
obviously
go.
not.
Right.
But you know what I liked about Amrabat? Like, he played tonight as if it was his last game in a United shirt at Old Trafford. Like, you could just tell, like... Do you want to see what it is with him? We've spoke about how he was playing as a full-back. He came in, he was playing unfit, he was chopped in and out. He had, like, a decent performance against Liverpool, never got a look in. And I'm sorry, but he should have got more minutes over the course of the season. Considering how poor certain players have been, he should have got more minutes. Is it a coincidence the last 2 games, Man United have looked way more solid? We've had better spells in possession, and we actually look like we know how to play football, because it feels like Amrabat, to me, has plugged that gaping hole in midfield that we've been having problems with all season. You've actually got a structure. You've got him and Mainu there, and they are a solid base. And, you know, when you surround, you know, Amrabat, who just does the simple stuff, you know, protecting that back 4, and then you surround him with a Mainu and a Bruno and an Ahmad as well, who are intelligent footballers who just keep the ball ticking. Guess what? You can actually play football. It only took us till the end of the season to realise it.
But I don't think Amrabat can do it by himself. I think he's got to have Scott next to him.
Yeah.
You've got to have Mainu and Bruno in there regardless, but I don't think you could have Mainu, Bruno, and then Amrabat covering that back 4.
Yeah.
I think he'd get exposed.
I
think he's benefiting today from the extra man in midfield, less space to cover, to be honest with you. Still a great performance.
Well, to be fair though, against Arsenal, he did really well.
It was
as
a
well,
free,
and there
wasn't
was,
it?
and there was a 3 in midfield.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think what you're saying is 100% true. I think he's warranted his space for the rest of the season. That's my thing. Because we don't actually have anyone else to put in that position. I mean, let's say we do have a centre-back coming back, and Casemiro might have the opportunity to come back into that midfield. I think Amrabat has warranted a position to play there over Casemiro. But like I said, if we're going long-term, we're thinking we need players to really complement Mainu, and players that are, you know, 3-4, you're going to be here for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years. I don't think Amrabat's going to be that person to take us to the next level.
No,
anyway.
yeah. No, yeah. I was obviously getting a little bit carried away. But, like, it's a question to ask as a backup 6, like, because Casemiro's going to go. I think Casemiro should go personally, because of the wage he's on, and, like, you know, he's coming towards the end of his prime, and he's had such a drop off this season. To be fair, I actually thought he did all right tonight. Credit to him, I thought he did all right. There was a few dodgy mistakes and slide tackles that Amrabat actually cleared up for him. But if Casemiro's going, you know, Eriksen's going, we're going to bring in like a midfielder for a first teamer anyway. Is it worth just having Amrabat there as that squad player, as that backup?
I think it depends. It depends solely on what the cost would be to take Amrabat, because we are penny pinching, and with financial fair play, when you look at it and you think how much of that budget would that eat up if you bring in, you know, Amrabat. You know, are there other players, Erik Ten Hag, or possibly the new manager that might possibly come in, be looking and thinking, would you use that, you know, a big... How much would he be? We're talking 20
million, I think it is the buy option.
Yeah. It's not bad, but is he going to be a first teamer, you know? And we can get excited. I think he's played really well, and you make a good point there.
He won't be a first teamer, but as a squad option.
Yeah. And I think, in fairness to Amrabat, like you say, he's not had a run in this role. It's only kind of now he's had a couple of games and he's actually impressed. A lot of United fans would have called for this ages ago when Casemiro was playing in that position and not performing. If Amrabat had come in and maybe had a run of 5 or 6 games, maybe we could have seen it, but it could possibly be, you know, that he's just left it a little bit too late. But I don't put that down to Amrabat. I put that down really to... It's a weird one, isn't it? Because Erik Ten Hag brought him to Manchester United, so it's almost like, well, why did he do it? He's filled in at left back. He's played in that midfield area this evening, and I thought he was really, really good. Really good.
Interesting stuff. Some super chats coming in. The Wally says Amrabat cost 7 million. We already paid 10 million for the loan.
Loan fee.
I mean, I don't know. Can anyone get the exact fee of what Amrabat would cost? Let's actually run.
I had 20 million in my head.
I did as well. Let's run a poll on whether people would sign Amrabat and trigger that clause. I'd like to see what the viewers think who are watching. Dan says, in Erik Ten Hag we trust. He's won me over with the speech. Keel Robinson says, Whole season we played Amrabat at left back. Jims91 says keep Amrabat as backup next season. Can't sell everyone. Siraj says Bruno showed why everyone needs a break. Last few matches, seeing some structure to the game. Amrabat should stay back. Ahmad Rasmus proved their worth. Maz Owan says we can't sack Erik ten Hag. He can transform teams. Look at the record at Ajax, the revolution. Erik ten Hag is the guy. Plus no farewell for Varane? Varane did his little clap around the stadium. Wayne Finnegan says yes, Kev, you're legend. Bruno. Jay Rayner says love that Ten Hag speech. We simply can't sack him now. What a man. Tom Williams says your view on Bruno's speech. Gutted if we lose him. I didn't see it because I was in the stadium. What did he say, Bruno?
I didn't see Bruno's speech.
I thought he kind of turned down it was kind of making out you're going to be here next season kind of thing. So it was, I wouldn't have read too much into it that he was kind of saying he was going or anything if that's what they're angling at. Anyway.
I only saw the Ten Hag speech. Tom Williams says, my heart sank when I heard Bruno saying, if you don't want me, I'll go. I think he's pivotal to our future. He bleeds United. Yeah, he's not going anywhere and we chain him to Old Trafford. Yeah. Sam May says VAR can, and I won't repeat the rest of that super chat. And David Alpha Young says, coincidence that Bruno got a break and he turns up with a great performance. Amrabat finally getting a run of games and his performance improves. Well, I wanted to bring this up because obviously Amrabat and Ahmad were massively standing out in that game. And there was other good performances as well. Bruno was another one. I thought Mainoo was another one too. But you look at it, Bruno, Amrabat and Ahmad, you would say like were main three standouts as long as Mainoo, but Mainoo's just always good, right? Ahmad has barely played all season. Amrabat's barely played all season. Bruno's just had a break. Is it the fact that these are players that actually aren't shattered, aren't running to the ground? And does Ten Hag have to use his squad a little bit more and use that rotation a bit more? Because, you know, Garnacho's looking knackered out there as well.
I think Garnacho's looked like that for ages. I remember saying it last time I was on here, like 4 weeks ago.
On his feet,
he started near enough every game since December. Yeah. He's going to be knackered.
But in terms to your question, you're right, but I don't think it's Ten Hag's fault though that he can't rotate these players because he really wanted to.
Not good enough.
Yeah, that's not even good enough. Not there. There's no one to rotate. Look at the last few games. We've had 2 senior players on the bench. Who's you going to rotate them for? So you're correct in saying that. Yes, rotating players does give them a bit more fresh legs when they do want to come in and whatnot. But I mean, if we were still in Europe. Obviously, yes, Champions League final now, but if we had carried on a bit further in Europe, carried on a bit further in the Carabao Cup, then we would have had more games to at least give players these kind of breaks and give other players opportunities to play football, like Ahmad and Amrabat and whatnot. But also, they've just not been available. There's been no one available to replace them with.
And even look at that this evening, you know, the minute you hear Hojlund's on the bench, and obviously the mainstream media is straight into it, you know, with the headline, Højlund dropped. He wasn't dropped. He was rested this evening. It's only because we haven't got anybody else that comes close to that. I don't care what anyone says. You know, we've tried Rashford in that position. It hasn't worked. You know, his better football's been out on the left. So from that point of view, you look at it and you think Erik ten Hag is down to the bare bones that much. He never got his backup striker. You know, there's nobody else to challenge Hojlund. I've always maintained that Hojlund has played far too much football this season. Erik ten Hag would not have planned for Hojlund to play this much football. And he's looking at this last game now against Brighton coming up, and there's no doubt everything is looking towards the game against Manchester City, and that's why he wasn't dropped. It's just so easy to say that, to look at the squad and go, oh, Hojlund's been dropped this evening, you know. And it was brilliant to see Hojlund get that goal, run over near the media, you know, and kind of shush, you know, a certain person this week that was writing a nonsensical story, you know, that apparently his teammates don't pass to him because, you know, they don't think he's a great footballer.
Bruno Fernandes shut that down.
For him to do that today, Højlund, to that certain individual I won't mention because I'm not giving him any time of day, I just thought that was brilliant as well.
Højlund was definitely thinking about that.
Oh, of course he was. You know, the minute he got on that pitch, he was unleashed and he thought, if I'm scoring, fantastic goal, that's in his head. You know, stuff like that. And so just to go over and go, have a bit of that.
Fire in his belly, absolutely love it. We'll speak about Højlund in a second.
And all his teammates celebrating with him, you know, they're all probably laughing and going, they read everything. They will have read that as well, probably thinking, where's this story come from?
Well, Bruno was the one who passed him the ball, and obviously Højlund did a lot of the work himself. It was a great goal.
Yeah.
On his right foot as well, because he's left-footed, he can do it with both. And his shot conversion rate just keeps going up, by the way. But Bruno passed it in. Bruno's had the most passes to him all season, the little he's had. So, do you remember there was that rumour as well that Bruno wasn't like passing to Hojlund? It was just honestly, like, I think, you know, you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt, but buzzing to see him shut them up. We'll speak about Hojlund in a second, but Amrabat's buy option, I've just been told he's confirmed it's £21 million for Manchester United to trigger that. At the moment, the poll is 74% yes, 26% no.
21 million.
Everyone's buzzing off the back of that performance.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Sorry.
We're not overreacting. It's
I want to ask you the question. Yeah, if you had a choice between keeping Amrabat or McTominay, who you keep?
McTominay.
Wow, that's a great question.
As bad as it...
Mate, they're both bench players, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah,
Like,
but as a
right,
bench player, not as a
as
starting
a bench player,
Yeah,
oh,
obviously
McTominay. As a bench player, keep McTominay.
Oh, okay.
The reason
Because
why...
he's a goal threat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's tough, though.
I won't want any of them in my lineup.
No.
But
Well,
on the
both-
bench, I would have Scott on my bench.
Both of them are them two kind of players that, you know, if you said go and run through a brick wall, they would do it. And in Amrabat's case, he would win that war because he is a unit, like. But they are cut from the same cloth. I know McTominay's come through the youth and that, but they are like kind of warriors that will run and run. But yeah, that's a great question.
I pick Amrabat, to be fair.
Would you?
Really?
But but Mod, Scott's like won us like 12 points off
What
the
was
bench
his last
this
goal?
season. Yeah, but you're just thinking about really...
Coventry.
No, but you're
keeping
No.
Coventry.
You're keeping him for goals.
The different positions for a start.
Okay, but you're not supposed to be, though. McTominay is supposed to play Amrabat's position.
McTominay's good.
McTominay's a box-to-box and Amrabat's a 6.
McTominay's good at coming on in
poacher.
situations where we're 1-0 behind or whatever, game's open, he comes on, he plays further forward. We're looking for a player. When McTominay starts a game, he goes missing, doesn't he? And everybody says ghost mode activated or whatever it is. But Amrabat's starting games and actually influencing them. And I don't see McTominay doing that. But it depends what you want as a
really good
as a
point,
bench
Kev.
player. But
That's a really good point. Maybe we should get a poll running on that as well. A lot of people asking for a poll on that.
McTominay or Amrabat.
Yeah, we'll get a poll running on that. I mean,
Till it's end of the season.
you don't think that's worth it, to be honest?
I like it.
Honestly, but anyway, moving on to Rasmus Højlund. We'll move on to that topic now. So, Rasmus Højlund, 15 goals in his debut season for Manchester United, had a fair bit of criticism, and to be honest, you know, it's been a bit of an up and down season for him, but today gets his goal, takes it super well, and Mods, he continues with that shot conversion, even though, you know, he does have them goal droughts. When he gets his opportunities, he is sticking them.
Yeah, I think this season for him has just been like a learning season. It's just been, I mean, I think people somehow forget he's 21 years. He just turned 21 the other day as well. He's probably one of the youngest strikers in a top team, unless we're talking about the smaller clubs. All the big clubs, he's one of the youngest strikers. So it's understandable why he's not had a great or an amazing season. Someone like Hojlund's not young anymore. Hojlund's 24, 25, and he's been playing top football for the last 4 years or something like that. So I'm just happy that he's got good enough numbers to say there's high potential, in my opinion. 15 goals in his first season is great, for my opinion. 15 goals for somebody who's never played at this level is a good season, and he's only going to get better. So I'm more confident in the fact that he's going to progress every single season. And obviously, like you said, Beth, if we do bring in like a experienced striker next to him, who we can learn from, it's just going to be progression after progression after progression. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to do.
Well, I wanted to bring this into the conversation because we talk about getting that second number 9 in the summer. We literally said in the build-up, it might be good for him to, you know, get into form and get a goal off the bench, because sometimes it is easier coming off the bench into a game when you've been watching the game from the bench and stuff like that. And he did that, and he did his job well, and he obviously had that fire in his belly. But we do need a second number 9, and I've been thinking about what type of number 9 we need, either an experienced striker or somebody, like we said today, Bruno Fernandes, as playing as a false 9, not a midfielder playing as a striker, but somebody who can link up the play, facilitate the wingers, is good with their back to goal, maybe like, you know, a little bit like a Firmino type when he was at Liverpool, a little bit like Martial when he was, you know, Rashford and Greenwood were flying in that lockdown period. Somebody, a lot of people say, like, you know, Cunha from Wolves, what he does, somebody who is like sharp, is aggressive and has good link-up play. So then you've got two options to play like we did tonight with Bruno Fernandes, with someone dropping deep and creating for our wide players. Or you've got, and then you develop Hojlund as that target man. So you've got two options of different types of strikers. I mean, Tull, how do you feel about that? Or would you rather just go for another target man to give Hojlund some experience?
No, I'd probably go with the more link play footballer approach, just because we've seen it with Hojlund all season. Whoever's up top, we never put the ball in the box anyway. Like our wingers aren't. Our wingers, I know they've not got many, but our wingers are goal scorers. They're more forwards than wingers. So I think you're probably best off having someone in the centre who's going to facilitate those wide players, because I don't think the wide player is going to facilitate the guy in the middle. You know, when Garnacho gets the ball, I think putting the ball in the box is the last thing on his mind. I don't think he even crosses his mind. I think Ahmad's probably a bit more likely, but even still, he can score goals. We've seen it today.
He cuts in a lot.
Yeah, he cuts in a lot. He wants to go on his left foot and he's playing on the right. So I'd probably go, like Beth said, like that Firmino style of player who's going to bring the wingers in. Because even
you don't think Bruno can do that though?
Oh, Bruno can do it. Bruno can do it definitely.
This evening.
Oh, we can definitely do it. But then are we going to change the formation to? We've normally played that formation a handful of times this season.
You want Bruno in midfield, really, don't you?
Realistically, yeah. But are we going to change the system when we've been playing one system the entire season, or are we just going to bring players in, you know, to fit the system we've been playing? It's a good shout, Kev.
I just think it's quite exciting to see that this evening, because there'll be tougher tests in Newcastle going into next season. You know, if there is a certain game, let's say Liverpool away at Anfield or City at the Etihad or whatever it is, that you could actually play that formation where you're going to have two holding midfielders that protect the back four, and then obviously further forward, then you've got another two. You know, and this false nine thing, because I did think it worked to an extent, but I do think in maybe bigger games like that, you know, where you need to be a bit more streetwise, it could work, because Bruno's just as good at pressing as Højlund.
But that's again, Kev, why would we be looking to get that sort of player? Do you know what I mean? So you don't have to use Bruno to do that, so you can have him in the midfield, so you don't have to rely on Bruno, because Bruno can do it. But the reason why Man United need another striker, and Roy Keane was speaking about this before the game, sometimes when managers make changes like that towards the end of the season, he's saying, I need a striker. Like, when playing Bruno as my false nine, get me a striker. So then, even though Bruno can play there, but you've got the option of Højlund as a target man or another player as that false nine type player who can do the job that Bruno's doing now, and then you can also have Bruno playing a little bit deeper as well in the midfield, so you're kind of getting the best of both worlds.
There's no doubt that that's a statement this evening by leaving Højlund on the bench. Like you say, it's almost like a cry for help. You know, if Ineos are sat there this evening, they'll be looking, the fans, we all know, you know, you were in the ground, it's almost, that is Ten Hag more or less saying, come on man, you know, give me something, help me out.
Well, Ineos, Sir Jim was actually at Nice's game tonight, and I bet Ten Hag's gutted because he was at the Arsenal. I think it's like, I bet he's got it on record at home and sending it over. Watch that one instead, please. But yeah, it's a lot of people getting different names in the chat. We've got a Sesko shout, we've got Gabriel Jesus. That won't happen. Nope. Experience like Ivan Toney. I actually think Ivan Toney can do the link-up play and can be a target man.
Just depends on price again.
I really like Toney. Yeah, I think we'll get priced out.
Immobile, someone says. Lautaro Martinez. Mateta, come on, have a day off. He's doing well for Palace, but come on. João Felix would be perfect. A lot of people getting different chats in. But yeah, I mean, I talk about all
Do we think we can set up like that against City? Because against City, we're not going to have that much of the ball. And our chance is going to be coming off the break. Would you not want Bruno a bit deeper, and you'd want Højlund up front running the line? Like, do you think that could work against City? Or because we're going to have 30 possession, 40 if we're lucky.
Not if Amrabat's playing.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I thought the same thing against Arsenal, and we had more possession than them. So you actually don't know.
Yeah, but
really.
City's a different.
I know City obviously are levels. I'll be honest, City are not levels above Arsenal in this season.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'd just be very shocked if we go toe-to-toe with City.
No, we definitely won't.
I'd be very surprised.
Can I just say, like, based off the way City have been playing recently, like, I watched them against Spurs. Spurs should have taken points off him.
100%.
Like, they
If they'd have took the chances.
They weren't that good.
Yeah.
Like, United need to be confident. Obviously, we need to be pragmatic, and we can't be out there leaving, like, gaps or everywhere. But if we set up in a compact, structured way, and we have players in the team like a Menu, like an Ahmad has to play, and Amrabat, Bruno, players that are actually intelligent footballers, we have a lot better of a chance.
And they've shown they can do it this season. Anfield is your classic example. Nobody give United a hope in hell of getting whatever. The Scousers were all getting giddy. It was going to be 7-0 again and all this, that. And on reflection of that game, to come away 0-0, I think even on the forum after it, we were all absolutely gobsmacked that the team had gone out, followed an instruction, sat in, defended really well, managed to, keep Liverpool's, the shots that they had were all from like long distance. And it was great that night, just to see it. But we're at that level, like you've just mentioned then, could you go toe-to-toe with City? We know, as United fans, where we're at the minute. We're not, for 1 minute, going to go into a cup final and think, right, end-to-end stuff, let's go for it, straight shootout. Who's going to win it? Because we know we'll get beat every single day of the week. We have to have a game plan. You're going to have to sit in, be disciplined. And like you've just mentioned before, there will be moments in that game where we don't touch the ball. It could be as long as minutes that City have got the ball. I just think that
Bruno's our outball in that game, 100%. If we get up the pitch, it's Bruno who's sending the ball. You want him further down where he's going to be able to win the ball. If we're going to play in that system again and Bruno's not in that position, no one else can play the false nine, really.
Bruno did such a good job of being everywhere, though, like he always does.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens, and I think we'll have an indicator on the Brighton game as well to see how he sets up in that. But we've got some super chats in. Jay Rayner says, I would keep Amrabat because he's genuinely more capable than McTominay. Plus, by selling McTominay, you could raise funds to activate Amrabat's release clause. Dave T says, Beth is the Bruno of the United stand, always class and elevates the team. That is the best compliment I've had. Thank you very much. Puka says, play Amrabat, you will choose McTominay, really. Wow. Real M says, Ten Hag just has a thing. Ten Hag in, Lucas puts rubbish out, have no option but to prove it on the pitch. And Ahmad, class. Amrabat, class. Suraj Mukherjee says, if McTominay doesn't score, what does he do? Amrabat defends. Lee Cape Town says, please, guys, don't make me laugh by wanting to keep McTominay. Honestly, who do we get 30 mil for guaranteed to dar McTominay? Joshua with a super chat, thank you very much. David Arthur Young, coincidence that Bruno got a break and turns up with a great performance. Amrabat finally getting a run of games and his performance improves. We've done that one. Thank you, everybody. Interesting point I want to bring in before I move on to Ahmad and Kobe. There's so much to speak about. But Erik ten Hag has just done an interview, and this is really interesting. So the reporter asks, Erik, if the club sticks with you, and they've been in this cycle for a while now of changing the manager every couple of years, if they could stick with you and if they back you, what? Oh, sorry, someone's typed this to me and it's just come out wrong. Okay. Hey, let me read it out again because it's just typed out wrong because someone's typed it out really quick, but I've kind of got the gist of it. Basically, what's happened is the reporter said, Erik, if the club sticks with you and they've been in the cycle for a while now of changing the manager every couple of years, with what you know about the players, the squad and the progress, where can you take this club given the backing? And Erik ten Hag answered, I can't answer this right now. And the reporter says, why not? And he said, because it's a very long answer. Interestingly that Ten Hag doesn't want to answer questions about his future. Do you think that's just to not cause distractions before the cup final, or do you think he isn't sure whether he's going to be in a job next season?
All roads lead to Wembley, don't they? And he will have to address that like he has this evening. He'll have to do the same thing at the Amex on Sunday. That will be the last chance that they'll probably get to ask them questions again. But I don't know. I just think Of course he's going to bat it away. He wants all the players to be focused. The speech this evening, everything just leads towards that, and it's about getting everybody into the right frame of mind. A journalist asking a question like that is playing devil's advocate slightly, isn't it? Because it's trying to get that reaction from Ten Hag, like, what do you want him to say? You know, he's going to, whatever he says, you know, people will read into it, but I think that's the right kind of answer. You could look at it both. He could be saying, well, listen, there's that much I need to do. Yeah. It's only if I am backed by the new regime. I could sit here all night and tell you what I want to do, but it could be, you know, such and such a player.
Could be pointless.
Yeah, if we can get rid of whatever players, I can bring this money in. So maybe he has answered it honestly in that way of saying, you know, it's a massive job, but he just doesn't know what's going on.
He's probably answered it in private to the owners of what his plans are. It's just whether he has the backing to do that. I hope he does. But Ricky's texted me with some points to put across watching the game. And first point, because I do want to move on to Ahmad, and we'll speak about that with you, Maud. So
he must have liked Ahmad.
Ricky's words, not mine. Ricky's words, not mine. Ahmad's that good that the manager needs sacking. The disrespect Ahmad has suffered all season is majorly embarrassing. 313 minutes he's played in the league, just over 3 games. It's compounded by us on the United stand, banging on about the fact Ahmad needs more game time for months. How has the manager not seen it? To be fair to him, I agree with him that Ahmad's embarrassed Ten Hag, because you're watching him every week. How has he not had a chance? But I won't go as far as saying he's sacking because of it. But Maud, I mean, Amad Diallo, what predicament has this left Ten Hag in now, and how hopeful are you for his future at United?
I think Ricky's right, I'm not going to lie. I think he's spot on. I think with Ten Hag, in a way, it's kind of giving him an easier job now in who he should be picking for the final, because you've got a player in Ahmad who has shown you consistently now in the small amount of minutes he's played, he hasn't had a bad minute. Genuinely, he hasn't had a bad minute. So Ten Hag can now actually say, you know what, I have a player that I know, I put him in this game against Man City, in the most important game of Ten Hag's season, he's going to give me a good performance. So in a way, yes, he has kind of embarrassed him, because you've not picked him the whole season. You had this gem of a player on the bench, just rotting on the bench, warming up the bench when you've been playing your favourites, whatever you want to call them, and they've just been stinking up the place. So it's embarrassing, but at the same time, you know what, Ten Hag, you should be grateful now that you've got a play like this. And it's similar to how when Mainu came back from injury, and it was like, wow, so we've had this player this whole time. Yes, he was obviously injured, but it's like we've just discovered a new gem in the team, a new, I call him star boy, innit? I don't know, I can't remember how old he is, but he's kind of young anyway. Like this new star boy at the club that we're thinking, he's going to be here for a long time now. We've got him. He's not like a 29, 30-year-old player. He's young. He's 21 or 22, something like that. And he's obviously going to be here for the long term. So Ten Hag, he should be happy that Ahmad has put in these performances consistently over the last few games. And like I said, he's booked his place in the final 100%.
It's embarrassing for Ten Hag. I don't mind saying that one bit. It's embarrassing for Ten Hag because he's tried all season to kind of cut his nose off to spite his face by getting in a player that he spent 90 million on in Anthony. And when there was already a player there, you know, which I would actually say, and I'm not being reactionary to just a few games, from what I've seen of Ahmad in such a short space of time, I would say as that package, as an exciting footballer, somebody that uses it well, a goal threat, can create, is actually better than the £90 million Brazilian that Ten Hag invested in. And Ten Hag has tried all season, you know, when we've heard team lineups, we've looked and we've been shocked and gone, he's gone with his guy Anthony again, and we're like, he's come back from injury and he's straight back into the team. Ten Hag's tried this all season, and we've debated it so many times. We've gone through it and we've said, don't understand why he keeps doing it, but it's purely down to the fact of how much money he spent on Anthony, when in theory, if he held his hands up, which he's never going to do because he's a football manager and he's certainly not going to back down, but deep down he must know that 90 million that was spent on Anthony could have been spent, you know, we're short at the back, maybe another centre-half, another midfielder. That is a lot of money, 90 million to invest on one player that really hasn't had any return, whereas Ahmad, you know, he was already there. He was under his nose, and he's kind of missed that opportunity. But now coming towards the end of the season, people talk about the FA Cup being possibly the kind of thing that could save Erik ten Hag this season. Now he's having to dip down, go back to Ahmad because he can trust him more, and he needs to play his strongest team. And at this minute in time, Ahmad would be included in it. It
all comes back to Anthony, doesn't it? I think I'm going to try play devil. I'm going to sit on the fence a little bit here. I'm going to defend Ten Hag a little bit. I think if you're Erik ten Hag and he starts Ahmad every week over Anthony, he's going to have questions to answer from whoever it is above him. He's saying, why do we spend 90 million on this player? Why do we spend 90 million on this player? But for me, if this player's been here, Ahmad that is, before Ten Hag got there, somebody should be advising him. There should be people that are advising him that we don't need to spend 90 million on Anthony. We've got this player here.
But that is the structure. There's no
it's
structure.
It's the structure, so I don't think it should all fall on the manager.
Yeah.
This could happen to a million different managers, whoever the manager is, this could have happened. I think it all comes down to the structure. There should be football people in the club saying, we don't need to spend 90 million quid on this winger. Look at this young winger we've already got. Let's invest this 90 million quid into the midfield or the defence or elsewhere. I think to cut Ten Hag a little bit of slack, because managers are going to come in and say, well, I want him, I want him, I want him. But they shouldn't get it every time. There should be people up there saying, well, you can't have him because we've got him. Let's make, do you know what I mean? Let's work with us here. Let's change it up a little bit. I think he should have been advised personally. So just to sit on the fence a little bit.
But there's been nobody there to advise him because there's nobody to make them kind of what we would call sporting, or sporting decisions. And I always maintain that, where was somebody to push back on the signing of Anthony to say, how much is this lad going to be worth in a few years? Will we ever get the money back for it? And they're the kind of conversations that they should have had. They haven't, and that's why I maintain at this moment in time, looking back through the season, Ten Hag's tried that hard to try and get Anthony into the team when really the performances on the field didn't really reflect that. So I think it's really unfair on Ahmad to be sat there, and he was just under his nose. Like I say, he was already at the club and he's had, next to nothing game time.
It's mad to think, in my opinion, our starting wingers for the FA Cup are Garnacho, who literally cost us, 500k, and Ahmad, to be fair, cost us a little bit of money back.
Rashford will play.
No. Over who?
You think Ten Hag will leave Rashford out of an FA Cup final?
Wait, over who though?
Mate, I don't know who, but I guarantee
he's going to have to make that decision.
I don't want Rashford to start. I guarantee he starts.
If he wants to win the FA Cup, then you literally go with the players.
Season.
I think he'll play, 100% play.
I don't think he should start.
I don't think he'll start.
Bet me life he starts.
Who should start in the front three for the FA Cup final?
It's the people who deserve it.
Garnacho, Højlund, Ahmad, for me.
You've got to give it to the players who warranted that position. It's a big game. At the end of the day, you want to put your name in the newspapers. You want to prove to the rest of the world how good of a player you are. Put them in the game. They've given you. You've saved Ten Hag this season.
Ahmad has to play.
He has to play.
He has to.
It wouldn't even be
You've
fair
got one
to
game
play
against
Rashford.
Brighton there at the weekend where you might be thinking of maybe wrapping Garnacho in cotton wool or maybe give him a certain amount of minutes and bring him off. Again, it depends how he trains in the next couple of days, but then you have got a full week of preparation. Where you have got your fingers crossed hoping that maybe we get a Varane back or just somebody for that final where you would look and go, because this Casemiro situation really, I'm having nightmares about this cup final, man, just thinking about that.
Do we think Ten Hag will start Ahmad in the final?
I think he does.
I think he has to.
Unless he gets injured,
he has to,
but the only thing I would say though is, and I know people hate Rashford anyway, but Rashford is a big game player, especially against Man City. So Ten Hag might be thinking. Ten Hag might be thinking. You know what? The last time we played City, who scored? Rashford scored.
Do you know what I think could happen? I think Hojlund could end up being on the bench.
Do you know what the thing is? I'd love to see Ahmad start.
Playing the false nine, or?
I think he might play Rashford down the middle.
I'd love to see Ahmad start. But 4 weeks ago, he couldn't get a start against Sheffield.
Who?
Ahmad.
I know it's mad, isn't it?
There's no way you'll start him in the FA Cup. He should do. But he will pick Rashford. I bet me life he picks Rashford, and he shouldn't do. but he will.
It depends on what he does against Brighton. I think what team he picks against Brighton is the team he'll pick against.
Well, tonight and Sunday, this is experiment time now, isn't it?
That's what I mean.
Because it doesn't really matter, you know. I know people were saying, "Oh, Conference League," and all. I'm not asked about that. You know, it's tonight. I want to see some kind of momentum, some kind of performance. We have got that in stages. We've won a game. Again, if we can see something against Brighton and take more positives, it'll just make me feel a bit better than about the cup final, where you know. Oh, we'll see.
Well, a lot of people saying maybe Garnacho. Garnacho will absolutely start. He's been to Ten Hag's preferred winger all season. He's played through everything, every minute he's played for him that like he can be available for. And yes, his performances hasn't been great the last few games, understandably so, but he causes a lot of problems. He is an outlier.
He caused City problems in the FA Cup final last year when he come on. Remember, he nearly scored.
I'm sorry, he deserves to start. I would rest him against Brighton, and give him the start in the FA Cup final. I know he's not been great recently, but for what he's done for us this season, he deserves to start in that FA Cup final. Yeah. So for me, Garnacho is nailed on. It's just the other two positions. I honestly think my prediction is he'll go Garnacho off the left. I think he'll go Ahmad off the right, and I think he'll go. He'll go Garnacho off the left, Rashford down the middle, and Ahmad down the right.
You think Højlund won't start?
Yeah, and I don't think it's right. I think Højlund should start, but I think that's what he'll do.
I don't think that'll happen. I'm really think
what
Rashford will play. What would I play?
Yeah.
I would play Højlund. I wouldn't play that system we played today, where Bruno was in the false nine against City. I'd rather have Bruno a bit deeper. I'd play Garnacho, Højlund and Ahmad. I have a feeling Rashford might start over Garnacho. I think you might see Garnacho against Brighton and then Rashford start the cup final.
That'd be absolutely horrible.
Be a huge call to make that.
It wouldn't make sense, but it's a Ten Hag thing.
This is Ten Hag. This is not what I would do. But think we've got like 38 games from this season as case study of like Ahmad could not get a start against Sheffield and Palace and all these teams. I really think one of the Garnacho or Ahmad are going to get dropped. One of them will get dropped.
Let's do 100%. A poll of will Rashford start the cup final? Let's do that poll.
That'd be crazy.
Let's do that poll. Will
not should you think?
Yeah, not should it. Will.
Not like
will it.
Would you start him if you were manager? Do you think he will start? If you were like putting money on it, like do you think he will start?
Yeah.
Mate, look at the games that all this season he's been terrible, and he started week after week after week. What? He started Coventry. Nobody wanted him to start against Coventry.
I'm sorry, do you know what's mad? The poll of who would you keep, Amrabat or McTominay, ended on 80% would keep Amrabat and 20% would keep McTominay.
That's way too much Scott disrespect for me.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I honestly think Amrabat is just a genuinely all-round better player than McTominay.
Yeah, but we already agreed we're not going to start either of them. Who's more effective off the bench?
Amrabat.
I'm taking Scott all day, man. I'm taking Scott all day, man. He's like 10 goals this season.
McTominay is only good if we are playing bad. And we
play bad most of the time.
No, but I want us to play good though. Like I want next season us to actually have good games.
I don't want us chasing goals.
I don't want us chasing a goal every single game. Like,
be in the position where we could bring Amrabat on and just see the game out.
That's more of a control. He's more of a control player.
Here's another point that Ricky brought up to me on text. He said, I was about to say that so many times people quoted the shots against us, nearly always 20 or more, to point out how bad we are. Only Sheffield United have conceded more shots, haven't they? Arsenal only had 11 shots. So using the same parameters, we were obviously miles better against Arsenal. It's because all three midfielders actually play midfield. I'll be shocked if it's not okay again tonight. Hopefully will be a better result. That was before the game kicked off. And he's right, Newcastle, like they had the chances, but...
You had 21 shots.
Did they?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
it didn't feel like they were battering us though. Like we felt previously.
There was a spell right at the start of the second half where they could have put about 3 goals away. And Onana.
The Gordon one where he sort of drilled it across goal.
Yeah, Onana did have to make a few couple.
Onana really kept us in it.
Yeah. But in that, I wanted to move on to the point of I do feel like Amrabat give us a little bit more stability in there. So another question about the cup final. I know we're just kind of completely just disregarding Brighton, but another question about the cup final, and that is, you assume that Evans and Martinez will play together in the cup final. Maybe Varane if he's back, but if Varane can't get minutes against Brighton, then you're not going to just throw someone in without playing them. So Evans and Martinez will play, or Varane and Martinez will play. Casemiro won't be at centre-back for the cup final, that's for sure.
I hope not.
So, does Casemiro start the cup final?
I don't know, actually.
In what position, though?
Get in the chat.
Yeah, there
tell
we
you
go.
Is it midfield? Does he start?
If we do our 4-man midfield, no, do you know what? He's going to start in it.
No.
If we're thinking
have
10
no
out,
doubt.
It'll be over McTominay.
I have no doubts that Ten Hag will start him, but
I'm
would
with you,
you,
Beth,
would
yeah.
you start him?
It'll be over McTominay. He 100% will start.
I wouldn't, and I'm only going off what I've seen
sure.
Casemiro playing in that preferred position, you know, that holding midfield role or whatever. The last 4 or 5 times I've seen him in that position, playing in his preferred position, he's looked, and I mean, awful. And I'm not just bashing him or whatever. I'm going off what I've seen with my own eyes.
No,
Are you talking about a very experienced player giving silly fouls away, jumping in when not needed, giving the ball away, very, very simple passes and putting us on the back foot with just horrendous decision-making where you're like, this guy has won a hell of a lot. He's an experienced player. That would be a massive, massive call. He would have to be so... And listen, he has got it in him to do that, to be very, very disciplined and sit in front of that back four or whatever it's going to be in that cup final. But by God, I'd worry. I mean, if Casemiro gets a yellow card in the first sort of 5-10 minutes, you know, you are walking a tightrope and you've got, like, arguably the best team in the world, the players that they've got and how clever they are, they would target that straight away.
Because realistically, in the midfield, if Bruno doesn't start as false 9, he might do, but say if you're classing Bruno in the midfield for City, that's one spot already gone. So for 2 spots, you have Amrabat, Casemiro, Mainu and McTominay.
Mainu's nailed on.
Nailed on.
Nailed on.
I would go with Amrabat
obviously.
over Casemiro. If he, at this
So
moment
it's
in
gonna be
time,
Bruno and Mainu,
at
and
this
then
moment in
you've got to
time.
pick out of Amrabat, McTominay and Casemiro, but I can't see Ten Hag not starting McTominay and I can't see him not starting Casemiro, but also Amrabat has to start, so you know you can only play
This
11.
is why it makes it interesting to see what happens on Sunday, because it will surely give you an inkling or some kind of idea of what Ten Hag, well, the experiment he's trying or whatever it's going to be, because you see Eriksen coming on this evening and then you think, would he have a part to play?
Absolutely no way. In my opinion,
Just
no.
throw it out there.
Like I said before, I think Amrabat's warranted his start against City just based on
You need
performance.
his legs in there. You need somebody against me.
Because when we played City, was it earlier this season and we lost like 3-1 or 3-0 or something like that? The problem that we had was the fact that we had no runners, and Casemiro, it's either Casemiro or Eriksen, one of them, whichever one of them played, was just getting caught out.
Do you know where Bruno played that game?
On the right, on
Played on the right, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Did he?
That's another curveball, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think
That's
if
another
whatever
curveball that could
midfield three we play has to be able to run.
Yeah.
They have to be able to run.
Here's an interesting one.
Played on the right that game, I remember.
Coach Cam on Twitter, who is actually really insightful. I like to see his tweets. I tweeted out saying, what's your early lineup for the FA Cup final? And he quote tweeted me saying, got a big clue tonight. I think it'll be Onana, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Dalot, with Amrabat and Mainu in the midfield. Højlund, Rashford, Bruno and McTominay, with Bruno and McTominay playing like as the false 9s to compact the midfield.
It's like a 4-4-2.
Yeah, so like a 4-4-2 basically.
I wouldn't be
I've never seen it.
I don't think it'll be Højlund though. I think I'd replace the Højlund with Garnacho. It'll be interesting. Interesting to see how he lines up.
You would
that mean
need that
Bruno on the right,
Højlund though, wouldn't you? The press
Yeah,
on the front.
So what do you?
I think he's putting Højlund on the right, which wouldn't work for me.
I was going to say, it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Well, like you say, it's not like he's not
Bruno on the right. He's
sacrificed and
done
put
Bruno on the right a
before,
lot.
Well, Bruno could be on the right.
just to get him in, and he would do a job.
Bruno might be honestly, Bruno could be a false 9. He played false 9 against City, didn't he, earlier on in the season? I feel like he did.
I think Ahmad's going to miss out, guys. I don't think Ahmad's
Now that you're saying
starting,
it, I actually think he is going to miss out.
Ahmad's going to miss out. So it is.
Especially because he's going to want to pack out the midfield as much as he can.
He shouldn't
He was
do.
so good today.
He shouldn't miss out.
Yeah,
he was absolutely brilliant
That
today.
goal was, and then not even the goal, like the way the ball just glued to his foot.
Yeah.
He always
it
makes
sweet,
the right
didn't he?
decision. He never loses the ball. I thought
And that's what you should want in a footballer. It's crazy if he is overlooked. You know, like I say, touch wood, he doesn't get an injury or anything that would rule him out. But on current form, again, if he plays at the weekend and, you know, there's no issue about his performance or anything, it has to be.
But I think even defensively, Garnacho's like compact. Like, he gets back into his shape. He helps his fullback out.
Yeah. But early on, again, he wanted to be really critical. I mean, Garnacho tracking back in the first half of this game today, there was a few instances. What was the one where he tried flicking the ball out and then he tried watching it out, and then next minute Newcastle were on the break, and I'm thinking... but that's when I looked at that point where it was only about 20 minutes in, and I'm thinking, his legs. But again, I'm not holding that against Garnacho. This is something the management should be looking at and thinking, you know, it was only the other week, what were they talking about, that he hadn't trained for a few days, yet then he starts a game. You know, you'd look and think, would you not like, again, that old saying of like, look after him and wrap him up in cotton wool, you know, there's bigger games ahead, but at the same time, the squad, it's just not there, is it? Squad depth for, especially competition for places, anyway.
I mean, on the score sheet tonight was Højlund. We spoke about Ahmad. We spoke about Kobbie Mainoo, just classing it quickly.
Oh, quality.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, like, it's not as if we don't want to speak about Kobbie, it's just everyone knows how good he is. Like, he's so good.
I'm still amazed there's a debate raging whether he should be on the plane to Germany for the Euros, because I know I'm not just saying it as a United fan. I've watched him for England make his full debut, get man of the match in that. I'm like, what more do you need to see? You know, if Gareth Southgate overlooks him for anybody else, and Gordon today for Newcastle, you know, it's very rarely I watch him for a full 90 minutes. He'd be on the plane for me as well. I thought he was really, really good. 100%. Ripped us apart.
Mainoo's the only type of player he is. He's the only English midfielder who's that type of player, I think. Bellingham's not the same type of player as him. Rice definitely isn't. Who else is the other starter for England? Who's the other? Who else?
Rice.
I suppose Foden's not.
Barkley.
A million. Barkley's going to go.
Kobbie's got to go.
Kobbie's going.
That way he took the ball down from that Onana pass. I mean, I don't think anyone could have done that the way he did. Like, I just was watching, like, he can do anything. Like, again, so silky.
You ever seen him after sprint? I've never.
After sprint?
Like, have you ever seen him have to sprint? This is what I'm saying. Yeah. I've never seen him have to really put the burners on and run. I have, to be fair. I thought his Palace got caught out. That's the one weakness to his game. I don't think he's the quickest. Yeah. That's the one weakness I'd say he has. But that's probably why that's complementing him so well, having Amrabat in. We were talking about legs then, and we keep saying that Casemiro next to him, I thought that might be the answer early on in the season, but it was clear that, you know, he was getting exposed, and you've seen so many videos and clips of Mainoo looking and thinking, am I going forward, are you going? And then Mainoo was just left exposed, whereas Amrabat, very disciplined, and he always seems to be next to him, and they always know who's going to, you know, you go, I'll stay. There seems to be that communication between them, which is really good, but yeah, highly impressed with Mainoo. What a breakthrough season. Absolutely sensational, man. Got some super chats. Keel Robinson, 60 minutes, bring on Garnacho for Rashford. United One says, let's give Casemiro some credit today. He's not a centre-back. I will always say that about Casemiro as well, and I've said it before, but fair play to him for actually playing at centre-back. I'm sure he doesn't want to play there. How many games has he played there now? I'm not being funny, but like, I'm not congratulating a player for putting on a United shirt. Like, you run 300 grand a week, play centre back. I'm not being like, oh, well done, you played centre back. You run 300 grand a week. If Ten Hag wants you play centre back, play centre back. But we've heard Wayne Rooney saying, you know, last week that he thinks there's some players that wouldn't put themselves in that position and say with an injury, and I'll go out there and play. So that's why I think fair play to him. Well, yeah. Well, I wouldn't exactly say it's fair play to him. I'd say it looks bad on the players who aren't doing that, to be honest with you. Like, anyone with an ounce of professionalism should be doing that. And that shows you the mentality of them ones that are sat there. He's got professionalism. This is the thing about Casemiro, right? He's got professionalism. Apparently he's got an unbelievable mentality. Apparently he studies the games, like every single game. Everybody knows, like, his personality is excellent. It's just, his form has just fallen off a cliff this season. Yeah. Today I thought he was okay. And he's not a centre-back. Yeah, he's not a centre-back, is he? But it's going to be
it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Casemiro. I think he will go, but we'll see. Yoshimo says, have you looked at the XG? We got lucky again. Don't care. Just the same way I don't care that they should have had a penalty. Carl Walsh says, only the top 4 in Everton have better goals against than us. Shay Maxwell says, I'm a McTominay fanboy, but Amrabat's probably better. Streetonomics says, if Garnacho doesn't start the final and gets rested against Brighton, that's an utter disgrace. Siraj Mukherjee says, Rashi left, Rasmus middle, Garner right, nightmare. Joshua says, Garnacho is raw and better off the bench, Rashford in. Ali Fidjuls with a super chat, thank you very much. Football United says, I think Ten Hag will start the same team on Sunday for the cup final, and definitely Ahmad should start. And Patrick Ryder says, Anthony should have been 40 million. Ali Visual says, Erik Ten Hag going round at the end of the match to greet the players. The body language and the action of the players says it all. They do not look up to Erik Ten Hag. United One says, Ahmad is a baller, clear as day. Embarrassing for Erik Ten Hag. Keel Robinson says, Erik Ten Hag has been manager, scout, director of football. Respect, guys. And Marcus Rashford says, I am not the problem. I carry this club and the city. Ali Visual says, they played for the fans, not for Erik Ten Hag. Last match at home, they know half of them will be gone. It was sentimental, but Amrabat is nearly back in form. Billy Porter says, goodness today shows how much we miss Bruno. United. Jay Rayner says, I would keep Amrabat because he's generally more capable than McTominay. Thank you, everyone, for your super chats. Last little bit of the show. We've got 5 minutes left. I'm going to go through the players and we're going to say, should they be part of Man United squad next season, yes or no? No umming and ahhing here. It's yes or no answers, all right?
Yeah, no sitting on the fence. Yes or no.
I'm going to go through it now. Let me just get up the...
Quick fire.
I'm just going to get up the squad from today first. So we'll start off with Andre Onana.
Keep.
Okay. Next up, Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Sell.
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 Moores is still clinging on it. He's like,
who are we getting in? Okay, no, I'm not even going to go. Next.
Casemiro.
So,
breaks my heart, but I sell.
Sell. Clean sweep.
Yeah.
Johnny Evans.
Sell.
Keep.
Coaching stuff.
I'd keep Johnny Evans.
I'd keep him as a backup. I honestly would.
Fair enough.
Mate, the guy's got experience, man. The guy's got experience.
Maybe he's some kind of coach or something. Ryan will be going mad in there.
The guy's got experience,
stuff,
man. When we step out at Wembley for that final, Johnny Evans is not going to be phased. He's been there loads, mate.
He's a Premier League winner, to be fair.
Could you get another season out of
Champions League winning squad? He's been there forever.
Ricky messaged me again about Johnny Evans today and just basically was just saying, what did he say about him? Let me get it up.
Has he been our best centre-back this season?
He says Johnny Evans is absolutely magnificent, by the way. We haven't got another centre-back in his class.
He's been our best centre-back this season.
Yeah, there's nobody else there.
I know there's been nobody else there, but he's still been the best centre-back this season.
No, you are right, but that's just because,
I think Varane was our best centre-back.
Remember how good he was at Anfield?
Maguire did well when he came in.
Archie Maguire.
I thought Varane, when he was fit, was very good.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Anyway, Evans, we've done 50-50.
Yeah.
Diogo Dalot.
Keep.
You've been forced.
No, I would say keep anyway.
Okay, next up, Amrabat.
Yes.
So?
Sell.
Probably sell. In hindsight, but
it's harsh this because he's just like. But
it's a sell unless
base it on a couple of games.
Yeah, Joe, no, yeah, get rid. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, get rid.
We all know Kobe Mainoo's a keep, so there's not even any point saying it. Ahmad.
Keep.
McTominay.
Sell.
Keep.
It's a squad player. I wouldn't start him.
Oh, okay.
Right, Garnacho, we all know.
Can I just say with McTominay though, it's the fact again. I've got my money head on it. If you did sell him, he's come through the youth and all that. With the money that that gets invested, back into. You can basically spend that money, can't you?
Well, it best get spent on another 10 goals a season because
he's not giving you that every season.
No, Scott scores, man. Scott bags, man.
Scores?
Scott
the first season he scored.
I keep him as a squad player. I wouldn't be starting him.
Right, get rid of it.
Garnacho is a keep, obviously. Anyone disagree? Yeah. Bruno?
Keep. 100%.
Keep. Okay, I'm going to move on now to some squad players. So, Lisandro Martinez.
Keep.
Højlund.
Keep.
Rashford.
Sell.
Keep.
Sell.
If we get 100 mil, sell. That's mine.
That's what I'm looking at.
If we get 100
if I got
million,
60 million,
I'm not
70
looking.
million,
I'm not looking at the price tag. I'm looking at the
sell
350 grand a week or whatever it is.
He's not contributing towards the team.
Yeah.
You're clearing massive wages off the bill, and I just
We can't have anyone on that unless
think he
Rashford's
looks-
going to take a pay cut, which he's not.
Yeah.
We can't have anybody on 300. How can we finish 8th in the league and have someone on 350 grand a week? It's so backwards.
Apparently everyone's wages getting cut though because we're not in Champions League.
Good.
So
He's probably on more than.
But unless Rashford's going to drop to 200
He'll be on
grand
more
a
than
week.
certain Man City players. Rashford.
Yeah, so certain ones, yeah, 100%.
Let's see how much he wants
He's
to
beyond
be
more
You
United.
need
than
to
lot
bring
of
that
Arsenal
wage
players.
thingy back down. Oh, easily.
Do you think Rashford will start in the FA Cup finals on 50-50, by the way?
Wow.
With
That is
nearly
a close
3,000
one.
votes, so it's on a close one. So we've got us 3 for sell on Rashford. You said keep.
400 million, yeah.
Okay.
I'd
Next,
keep if he drops his wage, but
For 100
I'd keep if he could play like he did last season every season, or just actually put in a bit of effort would be
Yeah,
nice.
true.
Ericsson,
sell.
sell.
So.
Binder, keep.
Keep.
Why not?
Kumbwala,
Keep.
keep.
Yeah.
Anthony,
Sell.
Sell if we can. There's no chance we can sell him. Who's
Yeah.
going to buy him?
If you can get anything
what?
for him, yeah, sell.
Yeah.
No one's paying his wages.
who
as
is
well.
going to?
Yeah, no, we ain't. Yeah, we're
That's a
stuck.
huge
We are
issue, that.
literally
That is a-
stuck with
It's
him.
like a Sanchez moment.
Stuck with him.
That's the thing. You can't say sell Rashford and not say sell Anthony. Like
No,
Anthony,
yeah.
Anthony would be a sell before I'd sell Rashford because
Yeah.
at least Rashford's got like he's proved he's had the ability before.
Yeah,
But
we've seen
Then
that
again,
he has.
Anthony
Yeah.
actually puts a bit of effort in, but he's got he's not done anything in United shirt.
No club would bid more than £30 million for Anthony.
Oh my God, yeah, I'd be amazed.
And you'd
if
be
they did.
lucky if you got
Even
30
Saudi.
million. Like,
Saudi's
he's
not paying
that
that much.
bad. Sell, but it ain't happening. We're
Okay.
stuck.
Harry Maguire.
Keep.
If you can get decent money for him, I'd sell him.
Yeah.
But
Same.
but I wouldn't mind keeping him at the same time.
Yeah, as a defensive reinforcement, I don't think he's going to be a first teamer if he understood that. But at the same time, if a bid comes in from someone and you can recoup a half decent fee like a West Ham or whoever, yeah, I'd be looking at that and thinking I'd take the money.
Luke Shaw.
Keep. Definite keep.
Keep, but we need a left back.
I would keep him.
I'm gonna
but
say
if-
keep.
But if he can't stay fit next season, then so.
Well, that does
I
become
agree.
a huge issue.
Yeah,
Hopefully if you can get a left back, that can challenge him, competition for places, then he shouldn't have to play every game, and at least then you can select him for bigger games or the games that really mean something, and then rotate them players because he's been running to the ground because of basically Malacia, being missing for a year. Big
Last
time.
couple, because the hour's up.
Yeah.
Mount. Keep.
I'm gonna have to keep him.
yeah.
Seen anything
See
of
what
him?
happens, yeah.
Don't even know who he is.
Malacia.
Sell.
I don't even know.
Sell.
I'll be honest.
Sell.
Loan, actually, if ever we can. I'd loan Malacia out.
Yeah, that'd be a good shout actually.
And last but not least, Victor Lindelof.
So.
Sell.
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 Sell. Well, everyone, that was a good end to the show. Thank you for everyone for getting involved. Thank you for all of the super chats. Got a couple more that I'm going to read out before we round off the show. Marcus Rashford says, sell her. Fine, I'm going to City. I hate you all. Keelan Robinson says, 60 minutes bring on Garnacho for Rashford. We've done that one. Thank you for all your super chats. I wore my Martial shirt and he didn't even get a kick. Not even fit enough still to make the last home game of the season. He truly
He was on the pitch at the end.
Yeah, with his hood up.
With his app and his sliders, ready to go on holiday.
He's not going to play a game for United again, is he?
No.
No.
Absolutely no way.
It's the quickest I've seen him move there at the end as
I
he headed
reckon-
down the tunnel.
To be fair, I reckon he probably don't want to play because he don't want to get injured for his next move.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
But, and it is what it is. Varane said goodbye, and I wonder who else is playing his last game. It'll be, we'll have to wait and see. But look, Maud, thank you. Kev, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Paul, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are we going to beat Brighton away? Last game of the season?
100%.
We
Yeah,
have
I
to.
like that
100%.
positivity.
100%.
You can't go. You
100%, not-
can't go to Wembley after
Not a
getting beat by
percentage of
them.
doubt. Just
100%. We beat Newcastle.
Yeah, but that's at home.
Newcastle are better than Brighton.
Yeah, but it's home, last game of the
I like that
season
way of
vibes.
thinking.
Home fans are there, you want to give them a send-off.
Our away fans will be there. Come
That's
on.
true.
We've got more.
I
We've got
tell
a
you
final
what,
to play for. We
the
need to win
away
this.
fans deserve a win away from home because
Exactly.
honestly, the amount of times we've one lost at Brighton, I don't think we can get a win at Brighton, and two, they've been down south how many times and we've just had shocker after shocker. So they deserve a win to end the season. And like you say, it would be good to go into Wembley with 2 wins under our belts. But look, everyone, thank you for watching. Ten Hag's army keeps going. And the season is nearly up. Can you believe it? A week on Saturday will be the FA Cup final against Manchester City.
Wow.
And God, there's a lot to happen before then, but it'll be an exciting time and hopefully can round the season off in style. But thanks for tuning in. It's the last fans forum for the home game. We'll be back for the Brighton game and the FA Cup final, the all anticipated one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week and we will see you on the next one.